Hey everyone, it's Monique Renewed. Welcome back for another video. So today's topic of discussion is going to be on whether or not God causes disease and sickness. And the short answer is yes, he can. And he, as we've seen in the Bible, he has caused sickness to certain individuals. And as we've seen in the example with Moses, when Moses met up with God in the burning bush, God asked him to put his hand in his pocket and he took it out, and it said it was white as snow with a skin disease. As we also seen with the Egyptians, it said that God sent certain plagues to them all this had a purpose, to demonstrate to Pharaoh who he was and to basically let his people go. So anything that God does, we basically see it has a purpose behind it. It's not with ill intentions. So, that answers that question. But then, does he cause all sickness? And basically the answer is no. He does not cause all sickness. As we've seen with the example with Job, Satan caused his skin to have boils, and that was Satan's doing, not God, but God allowed it. So that was as a direct result of Satan. And sickness, we know, came as a result of what happened in the Garden of Eden, because unfortunately Adam and Eve ate the apple. There was sickness that came along with the consequences. But we know that, we also played a part in that. We had a choice in that matter, and I think that's also relevant to nowadays. Sometimes we can cause our own sickness, really. And what I mean by that is with chronic and preventable diseases. Currently, I'm in school for healthcare administration, and part of our discussion this week was what can reduce the healthcare costs, such as technology, innovations, better coordination between disparate healthcare systems. And it's just like, I'm just thinking in the back of my head, well, all that's fine for like efficiency, really, but is it really going to reduce the cost of healthcare? Is it really going to make a dent in healthcare expenditures? And to me, the answer is no. What can really reduce the cost of healthcare expenditures is if we stop consuming healthcare services as much. And what I mean by that is through taking care of ourselves more, with at least with the preventable diseases portion. I'm not talking about diseases that are, inherited or that are not preventable at all. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about more so with these diseases like diabetes, heart disease, stuff like that can be really preventable. And something that really changed my perspective is what can really help you with preventing chronic diseases is it's in what you eat. This book, Let Food Be Your Medicine by Don Colbert, this literally changed my perspective of food dramatically. I'll leave the link down below. I started reading this when my mom was in the hospital. She had quite a few chronic diseases. Unfortunately, she did pass 6 months ago. But I picked this book up maybe a few months before she passed, and I started reading it as she was in the hospital. And I didn't even know this was a faith-based book when I picked it up. So I found that kind of funny. And this will literally change your perspective on food forever. It's not even funny. I'm gonna read a note that I wrote in the book. So the note reads, "Our flesh is naturally inclined towards sin, the very sin that leads to death, but you don't have to obey your flesh. You have a choice." And I'm reading this as if sin is like an analogy to like unhealthy foods. You have a choice. We like the taste of sin, or aka like unhealthy food, but don't realize it's killing us slowly but surely, and also separating us from God. When we first get a taste of what's actually good for us, we might be apprehensive because it's different than what we are used to. So like, say you're used to eating like unhealthy foods and you finally decide to make the change to eating healthy foods. You might not like it at first because it's not what you're used to, but then something miraculous happens. We start to get more and more of what's actually good for us, and it heals us from the inside out. So with this book, it literally talks about how food can heal you and reverse some of these chronic diseases that you might be living with. So I think this is like a really interesting read. And the rest of the note says, and it's actually better for us. Soon the things that once tasted good now taste bad, and it's no longer appealing to us. Turning away from sin leads to life, everlasting life. So if you're a believer and you believe God dwells inside of you and you're a temple of the Holy Spirit, then it is your responsibility to take care of your body and what you put inside of it. You know, everything is not solely focusing on the spiritual aspects. God literally made us physical beings as well. So he cares about our physical aspects and what we put inside our body and what we do to our bodies. And, you know, that also means food or working out, you know. And I'm not saying all this to say I'm perfect. I eat totally 100% good or nothing like that. I'm still working on it. I've improved dramatically since reading this book. And one thing I will say, I do not like working out, but it takes time to do to change. And you know, working out, especially if you're sitting all day, it doesn't have to be something so, you know, like you don't have to be an athlete or anything. Just, you know, work out for 30 minutes 4 to 5 times a week just to get your heart stronger and your body moving. So we know it's not all about spiritual, but it's also incorporating the physical aspects as well. And there will come a day where God will make us whole again. That means, you know, the body, the soul, and the spirit will become whole again eventually one day down the line. And, you know, that's what healing means. It means to make us whole. Before, you know, the fall of man, we were walking home. Before the fall of man, we were walking in wholeness, and that's what God desires to do, to make us whole again. So yep, that's it for this week's video. If you like, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and comment down below what is one thing that you would do with your eating habits that you will change. You know, it could be incorporating more fruits and vegetables. You know what, something I realized with this book, it's really try your best to stick to the God-made natural foods. You know, like nothing really like that's manipulated by man, like processed foods, all the junk foods. You know, it's okay to have that stuff every once in a while, but try your best to stay away from it and stick to the whole foods that are natural, that are God-made. And yeah, what was the question? I forgot the question, y'all, but I'll see you guys next time. Bye. And he asked him to put his hand in his pocket. When he took his hand out, it had, it said it was like white as snow, or it had leopard. It was leperish. And you're a temple of the no, it's not leopard. What is it called?